So, welcome back again. It's me, Eric Kilby. So, I'm going to continue from where we started. Where I stopped. Last time we talked about information literacy. Yeah, and, we got to know the uses, the merits, the definition, and everything that goes along with it. So today I'm coming here to introduce to you the information sources because we saw in the last video how to evaluate information sources. So today I'm coming to show you what the types of the information sources are, the example, the types, what they are, what they consist of, and what they do. Yeah. So again, I'm having here presentation for you in this folder here. So we shall be going through each step by step. You see, so this is the information sources, as you can see there on my screen. Yeah. Uh, Let me just make it bigger. Yeah, information sources, as you can see the title, my first slide, of course, by me, yours truly. And so types of information sources, we have what we call primary sources and secondary sources. There are only two types of information resources only. And so I'll start by explaining the primary sources. So these primary sources, the original materials of first-hand accounts created at the time of the event. These are what real event facts, which, or maybe I would say the eyewitness stuff, the eyewitness source of information or first-hand information, like they have said that it is original, not altered, real. Like how would I say? Maybe let me say this: an accident that happened on a highway. An accident happened somewhere. So the person who was there, the eyewitness, what he's telling is what we call first-hand information. He saw what really happened. Primary information is about what really happened, the original piece of the information, not altered, not edited, not analyzed, but really what happened from the beginning to the end, from the eye, especially the eyewitnesses. If there was a goal scored in a match, and someone, the one who was there watching, that they put the ball here and here, and this is how they scored. So that's how the goal was scored, and that's the first-hand information, and that's what we call a primary source. It is the first-hand information. Even what you've just seen, especially that's the major type, the major example I can say of primary source of information, eyewitness type. That is from the source. It is from the event where it happened exactly. Yeah, and as we had seen, there are two types of secondary sources. So secondary sources, these ones analyze, interpret, comment on primary sources. So for a secondary source of information to be there, there should be a primary source in place, meaning that this is an integration or it is an upgrade of the primary source. If someone saw these people, then a secondary source will be a shorter version, let me say shorter version with some spices. As you can see the news, how people spread the news. What was at the site is not what we get. So that's the secondary source of information. We get it through many sources, as we're going to see. So the secondary source is an upgrade of the primary source. So for a secondary source to take place, primary source has to primary source has to have released information, then it is analyzed, interpreted, and then commented on. So new information is made. It is not what really happened. It is what really happened, but it is altered. This is altered information from the primary source. So as you can see here, the comparison between primary and secondary sources, as we have seen, primary source are first hand, secondary sources are second hand. As we have said, this one is a first hand event. It happened on the event. Then this one is a remake of what happened first. Then raw data, meaning this raw data is is like what is actually there. What we are saying, raw data is from the field, exactly from the field, and it is given the way it was or the way it happened. Then the secondary sources, it is through documentaries, books, whatever, because now, as we have said, this is integrated, analyzed, and then commented on. It is released through documentaries, books, textbooks, newspapers. So that's where it is gotten from. Then primary sources are all about artifacts. Artifacts, these are like the major understanding is these are the objects that are made or used by humans, often providing insight into the past or a particular culture. But artifacts now are they are what is okay. We can call it evidence. It's all about evidence, like what or we can call exhibits, like how there would be a crime, they killed someone, an accident happened. What they get from the site, let me say the cars that crashed, the murder weapon they used to kill someone. Those are the artifacts. But secondary sources are all about reviews and critiques. They will analyze this and then they'll say something. They'll say like a murder weapon or what. That's what it's all about. Then I think that's not the end. There is this. Let me see. So then we have the published sources of information. Now, published sources, information sources, these are secondary sources of information, like journals. Journals is something that has been written. Okay, like many people, as we know diaries. That's what we know mostly. But this is something written from personal experience, or but it is private. It is something that is written down from the real person. Let me say someone is writing about their life experiences, what they have gone through. That's a journal. Then you have books like textbooks. We have novels, maybe like those by Shakespeare. We have heard of Romeo and Juliet. We read books and everything else. Then we have reports, conference papers, and grey literature. So these are the major sources of, I mean, like secondary sources of information. Maybe to give a little insight, grey literature, these are the documents or publications that are formally published or widely distributed, like that are not formally published, or they are written but they are not formally published. So it's a source of information, but it's not recognized like worldwide. Then conference papers are written presentations or research shared at academic professional conferences. Let me say peer reviewed. They are peer reviewed, then they are consented by maybe professional people, like how you'd say you're doing research work, you have to present it to lecturers, you have to present it to professors. That's conference papers, the ones you take into like a presentation. Yeah, I would say like presentation. Then grey literature, they are written but they are not published or they are not presented anywhere, but they are there. They are sources of information. Then we have what the reports, as we know, all the meaning of a report. These are like facts that have been collected and written down about a certain event or about a certain function that has happened. So I think that's all I've heard about the information sources. We'll meet again in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on this YouTube channel. Thank you.